Am I ugly? Are they better looking than me? Like, why are they getting saved and I'm over here working, taking on extra shifts now because she got Richard Gere that came and scooped her up and now she got an easy life and now I got extra corns on my toes and my back hurts because no one's saving me. So you have a very positive attitude. I would have been a little bitter, like, why the fuck? Why not me? Why not? I don't want to be irresponsible. I'm sick of it.
No,
I'm
Claudia.
tired. I'm tired of the goddamn cape.
No.
Somebody save me. I want to be Julia Roberts on Hollywood
No,
Boulevard
you don't.
in cheap shoes when some guy comes and saves me. I have worked hard since I was 14 and I had to pay. I'm sick of it, Erica.
I do understand.
It's a
I
thankless
understand
job
what you're
being
saying.
classy and independent. It's thankless. I've been dating since the 1900s and 80 something, and I'm still single. I'm tired, Erica. You found your man. Don't hate. Let me live this. Let me vent. You're off the strip. I am still on it. I'm in the trenches, and it sucks. I'm sick of being independent. I fucking hate paying for my fucking Range Rover, my other car, my mortgage insurance, my freaking cell phone, computer, Wi-Fi. I am sick of it. I need some guy with bad health to jump on in and interrupt and say, let me take you off your shift. You've been working hard enough. So that's cute what she's doing. I'm not doing that. We are different. I'm tired. I've proven myself. And it only impresses other women. She's like, oh, that's amazing. My friends are independent. These men don't care. Come and save me, some chic, minus the dookie. Just please, come and save me. I'm tired. I'm tired, Erica. I don't want to do it no more.
This show came out like 5 days ago, and the first episode points out that Ashanti is a single married mother. A married single mother. There was no formal proposal done. It was, he was laying on the bed. She was sitting on the end of the bed with his shirt on. And he reached over into the drawer, looking for the ring, and gave it to her. We've heard rumors of them, breaking up and getting back together, and then for y'all to actually see the dynamics that Ashanti has settled. She done let the whole industry run through her, and now she got to go right back to where she started. And now to be in your 40s and be a single mother. And he told you to your face before you got pregnant. Just
I have a confession. I used to be the woman that no woman wanted to be. I, as a single mom with all kinds of drama, used to be the woman that no woman wanted to be. And for a big portion of my life, I have avoided and tried my best to avoid being this woman, continuing to be this woman. And when I see this woman represented in other women, it makes me want to run. It makes me want to make all types of changes and decisions to avoid their circumstance. I think that this behavior perhaps is not healthy, right? But I think in many ways, as people, we often see what we don't want to be and do our best to avoid becoming that. Whereas the healthy way would be determining what we want to be, right? So I want to talk about this because I think although Claudia Jordan was extremely witty and funny and charismatic with how she shared what she was sharing, it was coming from a real place, in my opinion. Claudia Jordan, who's biracial, who a media personality, a former model, was on The Price is Right. She has an amazing career. And this is not the first time that she's talked like this. I've heard her speak like this several times before, talking about the resentment that she has now. I'm not sure her age. My guess is that she's probably in her late 40s, but she talks about the resentment that she feels, never having gotten married, never had any children, having to be strong and independent, as she alluded to, paying all her bills, and it's hard. And as many of us often do, we begin with the end in mind. And so we work backwards. I know sometimes I work backwards, meaning I see what I don't want to be, and I do my best to avoid being that. And again, having been the woman that nobody wanted to be, I have tried with every fiber in my being to avoid her. But the question is, who do you become when you live your life that way? Who do you become? And so this video, this clip of Claudia Jordan really resonated with me. It really resonated with me because it is actually so rare for us to see this level of vulnerability from a woman of her age. A lot of women, excuse me, as we've talked about Vivica Fox and Tracee Ellis Ross, a lot of women spend more energy on trying to pretend like they enjoy their situation. And some of them perhaps do, right? But we know that there is another side. And you guys know that I often talk about the invisible woman. Who is she? What does she look like? What does she sound like? And why Claudia Jordan's story is of particular significance is the relationship that where she's at now has to her beauty. And yes, I'm bringing up beauty standards because the assumption is that if you look like a Claudia Jordan, if you've had access to all the men that she's had access to, if you've been in the rooms and the spaces that she's been in, that you should, at this point in your life, not be talking like her, right? The assumption, I mean, there are women who pay great money to go get nose jobs and, you know, all the weave and everything to look more like Claudia Jordan to attract a certain type of man. But then you have Claudia Jordan in the flesh tell you that it doesn't matter how she looks. It doesn't matter how independent, as she said, nobody cares about strong, independent women. It hasn't mattered. And I want to talk about in this series, so this is a covered series. So I'm going to be talking a lot about, and I'm going to be centering married women and the voices and the experiences of married women. But before I can even do that, I wanted to make this point. Claudia Jordan is not married. I saw some criticism in the comment section, as I do read most comments, about, well, I don't know if it was criticism, but just talking about, you know, the fact that I talk about celebrities and that you guys can't relate. And I actually think that celebrities talking, and even though I agree that their lifestyle is a lot different than ours, but I think that there's something called the human experience. And talking about a celebrity does give me a vehicle to explain certain concepts and dynamics, because I actually don't really care that much about the celebrity, but more about the idea and the lesson. And so there are certain celebrities that I do feel more connected to than others, but ultimately I use these examples so that we can have deeper conversations. So, and we don't know the same people. So it's easier for me to use people that we all know of versus talking about my cousin, my aunts, you know, people that you guys clearly don't know. And then also airing out other people I know's dirty laundry in their business. That wouldn't be fair. So I am going to be talking about celebrities, but I'm in this series, but I'm also going to be using the examples of just regular everyday women, including myself. And I'll be sharing some personal insights and personal antidotes here and there. Beauty standards is significant because, again, when we talk about the woman that no one wants to be, that no woman wants to be, often we conjure up an image of a woman who's not attractive, who has a quote bad body, or who's, in some way not physically appealing. We're avoiding what the church and what the Black community views as uncovered and unprotected. That is the root of what many of us don't want to be. We don't want to be unprotected. We don't want to be unprovided for. We don't want to be uncovered. We don't want to be exposed. We don't want to be out here just, in the world, everybody just having access to us, to our emotions, to our finances, to insert whatever vulnerability. And I want to talk about how Ashanti, so you all heard what Tasha K had to say about Ashanti. That's Tasha K's opinion. I want to talk about how what we're seeing with Ashanti and Nelly, how good this is for the Black community, Black Hollywood, and overall, how good it is for the reputation of married people. Naka, you sound insane. How in the world is the Ashanti and Nelly situation good for anybody's reputation? How is it good? Why would you look at that and say, this is great? I love that for them. I love this for them. Why would you look at that and celebrate it and say that it's not a problem? Well, let me be clear. Would it work for me if I had a baby in my 40s and my husband told me, no, I'm not going to change any diapers and, what is that? I don't got nothing for him. Would that work for me? No. But why the situation is, I'm framing it as being somewhat good, is because what it exposes is the other side of all the Instagram images and all the Facebook reels and all the YouTube shorts, everything we see, and we look at these relationships and we say, oh my gosh, I want what she has. Her life is so perfect. Look, she has a high value man. Look, he bought her another purse, another Birkin. Oh, they're going on another vacation. We look at that and we think, we want that. We want to be her. We want to be Ashanti because she's beautiful. She has beautiful, seems to have a beautiful spirit. And I think real quick to interject that it's hopefully safe to say that I don't know any of these people that I'm talking about in the video. So please don't. For whatever reason, a lot of times people will watch my videos and get almost offended. Like, oh, you don't know them. I think we can all agree that I don't know these celebrities or anybody I'm going to be talking about. I am only basing what I'm saying off of information that is out there, information that perhaps they have shared, and my own speculations. Okay. So no need to get offended about if you feel that Ashanti's your best friend and you don't want me to say nothing. But I think this is an important conversation. And it's about time that we've had it.
You said you wanted to be a wife. You said you wanted to be a married mother. You ain't say nothing about us being parents. You said you wanted to have a baby. I gave you a baby. You said you wanted to be married. I gave you the marriage. You ain't say nothing about no 2-parent household. That's why Ashanti was running down having baby showers by herself. And you know what I'm going to say to Ashanti in this situation? Good. And here's why I'm going to say good for her ass. I'm so glad that he is embarrassing her ass the same way he was embarrassing her ass when he told her back in the day that he didn't want her. And she spit the block and went right back to the same man that told the world that he did not want her ass. Now he's saying he don't want the baby. The same thing he's saying about a 4-year-old son that he has with a woman down in Atlanta that y'all ain't heard nothing about. Because guess what? He autistic. And word is on the block, I don't know what the severity of the autism is, but if he ain't fucking with Ashanti's baby and that's his wife until that one can walk and talk, he definitely ain't messing with his autistic son down in Atlanta that y'all ain't heard or seen because he can't hang with the crew. But this is what she married. So I don't feel sorry for her. The way you treat another woman and they baby that they had, same thing gonna be done to you. Whatever you touch, gonna be done back to you. So that's what I ask you. That's exactly what her asking. Because listen, shout out to the baby mama in Atlanta. Yeah, Nelly pops up at the birthday parties, but he ain't got nothing for him. You better get him a special needs advisor. I got Trump checks to get. But y'all said I was hating. Y'all said I was lying. Y'all said, oh, Tasha just hate. This is black love. This is what it's looking. And now he got her looking stupid on national TV. He's talking about y'all actually, like, y'all actually get up? Like, I told you I'll give you a baby, but I'm not raising it. I didn't watch the show. I don't need to watch the show. I got the important parts. But tell me, did Nelly make up for making Shanti a single mother? A married single mother, did he make up for that? This is an unfortunate situation. Moving on.
Where's my Melania? I want the Melania Trump plan. I'm sick. I approve of myself. Since 1988.
At 88.
I'm tired. I was 15 out of paper routes.
Damn, that's a long time.
72 clients. 30-cent tip for some of you bastards in East Providence, Rhode Island on 2nd Street. I remember I gave you papers 7 days a week, and on Sunday you gave me a 30-cent tip. I'm tired. So I'm glad it worked out for you, but I'm not there.
Being a strong, independent woman since
Overrated.
1988
Since
is a lot,
88.
Claudia.
Since Salt and Pepper came out.
That's
tired.
Damn.
So yes.
Damn.
Excuse me if I'm a little frustrated. So I envy the girls that got taken off the pole, so to say.
Nobody said nothing about no damn poll.
But metaphorically.
Yeah, nobody said. What my point was, because here's the thing. The point was that this is a
take off the cape, Erica. We lost the election. We're not doing this anymore.
I'm not
soft life. Hookers are winning. Hoes are winning. Hookers are in the White House again. First lady, if you will. I'm over it. No one cares. Nobody cares about independence anymore. But I respect it, but they don't.
A lot of people are in love with the honeymoon phase. And the closer they get to getting to know this other person, they become less interested. They become a lot less interested because the honeymoon phase, it's fun, it's exciting, you have butterflies, you're feeling all those feelings, and it's not realistic and it doesn't last. When things get real, that is how you know if you're really in love. So really the honeymoon phase, although I know we love it, we really shouldn't, because the real test comes when the person, needs you. Excuse me. There's lots of bugs. When the person needs you. Seeing if you can show up. Or perhaps you need the other person in some way. And can you be vulnerable enough to admit that you need help? Can the other person trust you with their, information. These are all real displays of what love is, but many people think that love is the honeymoon phase. And so what I find, and again, this is not an attack on single people, but a lot of times single women and perhaps men too use that. They don't realize that they're chasing the honeymoon phase. And so when you hear people talk about and they say it didn't work out, it's over, I'm done, I'm back on the app, or whatever people say when they end relationships or they stop, quote, talking to this other person, I'm curious, was there really a problem, or was the honeymoon phase just over? So, I don't know. And then the reality is too, everybody's gonna have a problem. Some people are gonna have several problems. And that's just part of human nature, is we all have issues and we all have things. And it really is about figuring out the thing that you can live with. So when I talk about women having unrealistic expectations, and anytime unrealistic expectations comes up, it's really, this is an example of what an unrealistic expectation is thinking that the honeymoon phase of a relationship is supposed to last forever. And the reality, for those of us who have been in long-term relationships, those of us who are married, we know that we have to work and put effort in. It may not be sexy, but life is not sexy. It's not. So wouldn't you rather really know the person for who they are versus living through a fairy tale? It's just a question. So I'm out here, and I just wanted to, again, I know everyone does their content differently, but for my day ones and the OGs of this channel, that my second video on this channel was outside. So there's something I have to accept about myself, is that I'm always going to be outside, and no, conditions are never really perfect when you're outside. But as the weather gets nicer, I'm gonna be outside. But I want to talk to you guys about being covered. So I did the Uncovered series. I'm sweating. If you see me wiping my nose, I'm sweating. I did the Uncovered series about a year ago, maybe a little bit over a year ago, before I was married. And so now I am married. It's been almost a year. I am doing the Covered series on my channel because I want to talk about the other side. I spent a lot of time talking about single black women, but what is it like being married? And I always had this theory that married people gatekeep information, as they should. But what can I share? How can I be vulnerable? Not to the point where I divulge all my personal information, but to the point where I can share enough that could potentially help and or inspire. And I don't know what's going to come out of it. Just like a lot of my content, sometimes I don't know where I just go with it. But so this is my first official, real long form vlog. I think as black women, we underestimate the power of an apology, the power of, the power of being able to listen, and not listen to respond, but really listen. We need to remember that when we talk about protection and provision, that includes, especially the protection part, includes your husband being willing to die for you and put his life on the line. And so if that's the case, I have something in my eye. if that's the case, if your husband is putting his life on the line for you, and obviously your job is to try to avoid any situations where he would have to do that, but that is going to come with a duty on your part. You can't want something and desire something and give nothing in return. So when we talk about protection and provision and, problem solving and all these things we love that men do, and then we also talk about toxic masculinity. Is there toxic masculinity? Of course. But how are we separating out what's toxic versus what skills are we using to our benefit? Because sometimes I think a lot of things that we talk about being toxic are skills that if there was some danger, we would benefit from. Thank you for watching my struggle vlogging.